Thanks for joining a couple of 90s kids. You're listening to Stuck in My Generation. All right, so you've heard the intro episode. Welcome to the first official episode of Stuck in My Generation, where me and my co-host Brian Hicks here. Howdy, sir.
What's up?
Living the dream. That's the cliche cliche white thing to say. Cliche white guy thing to say. Living the dream. That's what you hear at the 9 to 5. What's going on, man? Oh, just living the dream. Living the dream.
That's some Sturgill Simpson shit right there. Living the dream.
Absolutely. Cutting Grass Volume 1 and 2. Since we're talking music, yeah. I haven't really listened to that much, but the whole point of me and Hicks, we're from Southern Ohio, so it's last name basis all the time with everybody we know. So me and Hicks basically thought, we need to expand our musical horizons. So we're going to tell you a little bit about where we come from and where we're going. So me, real quick, music, big part of my life. Dad played guitar. Dad was in bands. Dad tried to get me to be a fan of Boston, AC/DC, Def Leppard, whatever he thought was cool is what he pushed on me. And that's fine because, Def Leppard was cool for a minute. Warrant was my favorite band for a moment. And then young teen Nirvana comes along, just like every cliche 90s kid story. Nirvana comes along and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Then from there on, it's mostly grunge, hard rock, 9 Inch Nails, a little bit of metal. I didn't dive back into the 70s or 80s or 60s or any of the so-called great bands. I just didn't do that because I was young. The grunge thing caught me. So there's a lot of stuff I've just never gave the time of day, which is part of what the podcast is about too. So I'll leave it at that and let Brian talk about where he came from. But 90s grunge, 90s rock. And I just kind of got stuck in it. 90s punk to an extent. Hicks, what about you? You've got 2 or 3 years of age on me. I don't know if that means shit when it comes to, did you listen to the Beatles and the Stones heavily before? Like what was your genre of choice growing up? What do you think you missed out on? What do you think you missed out on? And where did it go? Like where did your music taste take you?
I'll tell you, as soon as I started walking, my family, they were really big into music. Didn't play, but it just always had music playing all the time. Just about, like I said, as soon as I started walking, man, I was being fed the Beach Boys, like the 50s and 60s, the golden oldies stuff. And
did you retain any of it? Like, did it click yet, or?
Yeah. I think where I caught on with like the Beach Boy stuff. I mean, like the harmonizing and stuff. I mean, it was almost like nursery rhymes to me.
Makes sense.
I kind of latched onto that pretty heavy. My sister, she's about 8 years older than me, so that's probably like, that's the only type of music that I thought that there was, when I was young.
Like we talking like 7, 8, 9, 10, or is the teenage years?
Oh yeah, I'm talking like I was probably like 8 years old, just hanging out, and I heard this sound coming from the basement. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is that sound? I've never heard anything like that before. So I kind of tiptoed down the steps, and I can still see it as plain as day. But I heard this song, and my sister, we had a record player downstairs, and it was Heart of Glass by Blondie. And I'd never heard anything like that. I was like, where's the saxophone and the piano and the doo-wops and all that stuff, that kind of music. I thought, oh my gosh, what is that? And I thought that opened up, I thought, there's really a lot more music than what I I know what's going on.
Well, yeah, that's a first for me to hear somebody like having an eye-opening experience, and it's Blondie. Like Blondie's a good band. Blondie's cool as hell, but that's one of those things you don't hear. Usually it's like, I'll never forget when I heard Nirvana. I'll never forget when I heard the Beatles. I'll never forget when I heard the Stones. I haven't heard the Blondie one yet. So
it was Blondie, man. It was Heart of Glass. It was that rhythm. It was that just that drum beat. I don't even know how to I'm not a drummer. I don't really know any drummers. I don't know how to describe that drum beat, but it really just grabbed a hold of me, and just never heard anything like that before. And of course, I'm going to throw in the cliche scenario. Fast forward to like 91, I was surrounded by Bon Jovi, Garth Brooks, Poison. Everybody
Oh
was listening
yeah.
to that. I thought, man, this is just manufactured music just to make money. There's no heart in it. There's no soul. And I'll never forget, I was walking into school one morning, and this dude was rolling around the corner in a black Chevy truck. And, that was the days where the big speakers and everything was going on.
JL audio, boom, boom.
JL audio, yeah. And I
Fucking
heard,
kickers, son. Kickers in the back.
yeah. And I heard this sound, and it's like the clouds parted and the heaven shined down upon this vehicle and myself. Oh my gosh, what is that sound? Of course, it was Nirvana. Never heard
It's crazy.
anything like that before.
Yeah.
So that really grabbed a hold of me too. To this day, I have to force myself to listen to Nirvana.
Yeah. It's like, well, this is the whole part of like being stuck in our generations. Like shit gets old. I mean, Nirvana, what we got, like 4 albums to listen to, and you're done. Like you've exhausted it all. Like who can listen to the same 3 or 4 albums for their whole life?
Yeah. And by the time what was it, In Utero came out,
yeah,
man, I had wore out. Never mind.
Yeah. I can't listen to it.
I can't do it either. I'll get on a kick from now and again and do the Unplugged album.
Yeah, that one does stand the test of time.
But that was definitely 2 moments, the Blondie and their Nirvana that really hit me from, just out of nowhere. Just a big surprise to me, really grabbed a hold of me.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other music that is really
I wish my story was cooler, because I think it was Warrant that I was like, this is my band. Yeah, she's my cherry pie, bitch. Yes.
Yeah.
And, I wore that tape out, and then Nirvana thankfully saved me from that atrocity. But yeah, okay, so with you and me both, basically there was a band that opened our eyes before Nirvana. Nirvana was same for me. Clouds parted, shit shined down. I was like, God has blessed me with the sound. This is what I was, I've been saved. Yeah, I've been saved. This is what I was meant to listen to. But like, I never dove backwards. I never, I always heard the Beatles were a great band. Well, in my head, I just think of like, I want to hold your hand. And I'm like, that's fucking lame. Like, that's terrible. So I never dive into the Beatles. The Stones, I hear some of the hits. Everybody loves Paint It Black when they're growing up. Like you hear some of those things. Did you dive backwards into anything, like, or were you just going progressively forward from Nirvana onto Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and whatever came after? Did you go back and revisit some of the bands that supposedly started it all, or did they get left behind?
As I grew older, it's just as much interesting to me as what influenced artists versus, and including the music they put out, but it's definitely interesting to me what their influences were.
Yeah.
So I kind of,
now.
Me too now also, but like when, the Nirvana Unplugged came out, The Man Who Sold the World, I didn't know that was a Bowie song.
Nor did I.
So I kind of took that. I knew who David Bowie was. I remember the duet between he and Mick Jagger, but other than that, I didn't know anything about Bowie.
Yeah.
So, and I still don't know a whole lot of Bowie to this day, but I
don't either.
That opened up a little bit of interest.
That might bode well for us. Bowie might be a journey that we have to take and talk about on an episode, because I don't know much about him either. My sister-in-law and my wife love him, and I'm sure I would probably like him too. But if somebody's like, sing a Bowie song, I would just be like, I'm afraid of Americans. Like, I don't know anything else, I don't.
Yeah.
That was during grunge, like Mr. Chameleon, David Bowie did. I knew what he was doing, because he's like, oh, he worked with Trent Reznor? I'll listen to this. You can tell me that, fucking Rockadoodle from the animated movie worked with Trent Reznor, and I'd be like, sign me up. I want to hear this shit,
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I didn't dive into anything in the past at all. Like, And you mentioned Garth Brooks. That was another one, you know, that rings a bell. And the 90s kid upbringing. Never did like that shit, but everybody tried to push it on me. Like, Garth is the this of our generation or this or that. Or I was like, yeah, just all I know is Chris Gaines happened because of him. So
Yeah,
we should probably just move on from
yeah,
Chris
for sure.
Gaines. But yeah, Nirvana, that shit's hard to listen to. Like Soundgarden's hard to listen to. Now, it's not like you don't appreciate those things, but like I'm 40 and I know you're just a couple years on the other side of 40. So we're both in our 40s.
Yeah.
And I had to do something new. So I won't spoil too much on this episode, but I dove into the Beatles. I'm not done yet, but I dove into them pretty hard, started making a playlist. Your knowledge on the Beatles is probably a little more extensive than what mine was. So you've listened to some Beatles, right? I think we talked and you haven't listened to much, but you've listened to some.
I haven't visited in a while, but you know, the Beatles, you know, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she played a lot of music, you know, throughout the time I was home, and she was a Beatles fan. A lot of the early Beatles stuff. I kind of I need to revisit a lot of the albums that they came out with later in their career. But you know, I've always been more of a Stones fan.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of respect.
I do know that about you because, yeah, you're definitely a Stones guy.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's a Stones girl.
Is she all right?
Oh, yeah. She's total hippie.
Yeah. But there's more. I need to go back and revisit. You know, I remember the second CD that I ever bought was Sgt. Pepper by the Beatles. I think the first CD I ever bought was like the Talking Heads. I'm embarrassed to. It was a horrible album. I just bought it because it had a funny looking monkey on the cover.
That might be something to revisit because, man, the more I listen to a lot of like music shit on podcasts, like the Talking Heads apparently were largely influential, and I didn't know that. So I
didn't either.
That might be one of those things. Like, might listen to the Talking Heads, talk about how we feel about that.
Sure.
But apparently they've done a lot of influential shit, and I didn't know that. So I've been listening to this podcast, and I don't mind shouting out other podcasts on here, but man, it's fun as hell. It's called Your Favorite Band Sucks.
Right.
It's a couple guys basically just talking shit about every band they bring on, and it's pretty entertaining. And unfortunately, I learn a lot about bands that I did like, and they helped to bury them for me, like talking about what a shitty person Kurt Cobain was and what a shitty person Bradley Noel of Sublime is. And it's a good time and it's funny, but it's they're definitely pretentious. Like they hate everything. I don't know what they like, but of course they're talking about how the Beatles suck. And I've dove in just enough to know that they don't suck. I thought they sucked. They don't suck, which save that for an upcoming episode, of course. But
sure.
So the premise of what me and Hicks are doing here is just trying to figure out, you know, what we missed out on, what might have influenced all the bands that we liked growing up, and just see where it goes. Like, can the favorite bands of mine from the 90s be replaced by acts that are honestly, you know, better and had a bigger catalog of music and maybe done more for music in general? Because, you know, Nirvana's great. I wouldn't call them one of the best bands of all time, honestly, but they're influential and they caused something. They caused like a movement of music, and unfortunately, that movement of music in grunge like just died. Like it just absolutely fucking died. There's I mean, a good point I heard on that other podcast. Like, can you think of any bands that were influenced by grunge that are a large part of music history? Because rock died pretty quickly, but it's like who the fuck did these bands spawn? I mean, we got like Creed and Puddle of Mud and Nickelback. Like that's like considered post grunge. Well, thanks a lot, Kurt Cobain. Like he really fucking swung and gave us a home run there with Nickelback and Creed.
that spawned a horrible group of bands and music. It's really bad.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit, you know, Linkin Park. I mean, some people give Linkin Park their due, but I don't. You know, it's just
Yeah.
not my cup of tea. But you know, nothing came of that. So now it's like all these years go by after grunge, and it's like I have two choices. I can either go backwards or forwards, which I've chosen to do both. But if you go forward, it's R&B, it's hip hop, it's weird shit like, you
Yeah.
know, indie rock that's just a little abstract and odd, or you can go back and go to the Beatles, the Stones, Beach Boys. I've never listened to Pet Sounds. So
Yeah.
that's probably something that needs to happen for an episode of the show. Like I've never listened to Pet Sounds, one of the most influential albums of all time, supposedly. So I feel
Sure.
like I just fucked myself in music. Like I got stuck in grunge and that's it. Like everything
Yeah.
else has been like trying to find little pieces here and there that are good. So
Oh yeah.
what are you listening to now?
What am I listening to now?
Yeah, just in
Uh,
general, just like when you get in the car and you go somewhere, do you have like a revolving two or three bands that you just keep on
I'll tell
deck,
you what.
or do you hit the radio like most people do?
I'll tell you what I'm really bad about is I'll get stuck on a band and I'll stay on that band for like a week, and it's mostly YouTube clips of live performances. You know, since you can't go to concerts and stuff right now.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely the Chili Peppers, their live performances on YouTube. You know, that's usually a constant in my garage when I'm working and fooling around in the garage.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a little bit of Yellow Wolf.
I like
Uh,
Yellow. I'm a Yellow Wolf fan.
yeah,
I'm a rap fan. I'm more of a rap fan at 40 than I was at
yeah.
20 or 30. And that's
Oh yeah,
mind blowing, actually.
yeah.
I never
Every
it'd be that way.
Yeah, ever since Eddie Van Halen passed away, the early Van Halen stuff, which my sister really turned me on to the early Van Halen stuff. I've been listening to a little bit of that. Uh, Actually, a little bit of a dude by the name of Billy Strings who has a band.
Yep. I know who Billy Strings is.
Been listening to some of his live performances. And I actually been digging into a little bit of the Too Short stuff.
Dude, Too Short was fun. That
Oh
was
yeah,
fun. That was fun times.
some of the first albums that he came out with. So that's what's been flowing through my speakers recently. So
Yeah, I think you and I have talked. Megan the Stallion has been frequenting my speakers. I'm all about the female rap game right now, just because all they talk about is fucking, and who doesn't like talking about fucking, you know? Like, hey, it's if all Megan wants to talk about is dick going inside of her and stuff. I'm like, I'm in. I'm cool. That's you know, she's painting a visual in my mind, and I'm good with that. You know, that's better than
yeah.
you know Kurt Cobain making me think I'm raping him. You know, I don't want to. That's the opposite of where I want to go. So Megan the Stallion has really saved me here and there. But
Yeah.
you and I, like me and Hicks worked together for a while,
Right.
and we got on one hell of a Tool kick.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
massive Tool kick, which Tool is my favorite band.
Yeah.
I can't speak for you. I don't know what your favorite band is. I assume the Stones out of all the ones you like.
I
But
don't know if I couldn't. I don't think I can narrow it down.
it is
I don't think I
hard.
could.
I mean, it is tough. Like even Tool's faded for me a little bit over the years. Like I still love them, but it's like Maynard's an asshole. They only put out an album every fucking decade and a half. It's like, what am I, you know, is it really worth giving them the title of favorite band if they hardly ever put anything out? And it's, you know, but
Man, they're good.
they are good. Yeah. Well,
And I'll
that
tell you what,
sucks.
during that time, you really turned me on to, you know, their whole discography. Really, I mean, you know, I was just aware of, you know, their first
My bad.
album, I think. And, you know, once you and I started talking about stuff, you know, you really got me exposed to
Yeah. Yeah.
one of the other albums.
It's one of those things like we took turns driving, and I think we just took turns shoving music down the other's throat, you know, as we're all like,
Yeah.
hey, let's put this on tonight. Let's put this on tonight. And yeah, that's just, that's one of those experiences. That's one of those bands. it's just there's only one of them. Like you don't hear anything like them, you know? Like you don't hear anything quite like Nine Inch Nails. You don't hear anything quite like Tool.
Oh yeah.
You don't hear anything quite like the Stones or the Beatles, in my opinion. You don't hear, you know, quite anything like Megan Thee Stallion or Too Short. Too Short's fun. Man, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to go back to all the Master P shit that was popular when I was growing up too, like the make them say and and all the millions of like just dudes off the street that he'd signed to Cash Money Records or whatever, like with weird fucking names, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more when it comes to rap, I'm more like DMX was my big thing back then, and I still dip into that every once in a while. Public Enemy. I had a Public Enemy CD or two growing up, so
yep,
some of that. But as far as what I've been listening to lately, like I'm ashamed. Like this is part of the reason for this podcast too. I'm ashamed of what I've been listening to. Like I'm sick of everything. So I read a review about Taylor Swift coming out with an indie folk album, and I've always been an acoustic kind of folky fan guy. I even liked Jewel when she came out a long time ago, till she went country. But like, so I've been listening to Taylor Swift's Folklore and Evermore. I think they're great. I'm not too ashamed to say they're great. I think they're fucking brilliant. And she's opened my eyes to like her songwriting skills. But you know, those new Taylor Swift albums, new Megan Thee Stallion stuff. My wife, who's a complete hippie, you know, she basically only listens to Beatles era bands or grunge, and there's not much of anything else in there. But she's been listening to Post Malone. Like Post Malone's voice reeled her in, and I'm like, Post Malone, what the hell are you thinking? And like, I'm in the just like me and you driving around listening to Tool and shit. I'm in the car and she's playing Post Malone songs. I'm like, God damn it, I get it. I understand. I like it. I like this guy too. He's fine. And I think I told you about it, but I don't know if you ever watched it. But Post Malone did a bunch of Nirvana covers.
I watched that.
Dude, was that not the shit?
Yeah, with Travis Barker on drums.
Yeah, I mean, Post Malone sounds. I haven't heard anybody do Nirvana songs besides Kurt Cobain that well.
I was impressed.
I was too, and I was like, okay, mate, you know, this makes sense now. Why my wife loves this guy so much, and you know why I've started listening to him and actually like him. But yeah, at some point I was like, okay, I've added Post Malone to my repertoire. I've added Taylor Swift. You know, couple others, Megan Thee Stallion. Like I can't let myself just go completely into the new stuff because I've tried. There's a lot of stuff and it's just garbage.
Yeah.
So it was time to go backwards. So what I think me and Hicks are planning on doing, if you want to join me, I'm currently making a playlist, kind of listening to the Beatles religiously for the next episode and creating a playlist of what I would put on my Beatles, you know, playlist, my hits album. And surprisingly, I'm not going to give too much shit away, but it actually starts at a certain point. Like there's some Beatles that I just can't listen to, and then there's a turning point where I can listen to most of it. And then there's a little section where I can't listen to it, and then it turns on again. So I'm glad I've been listening to Beatles because there's some roller coasters in there. Like they did all kinds of shit.
I agree.
They never sounded, you know, they sounded the same for a little bit. And then they went completely off the fucking rails. And then they went back to their old sound a little bit, but I guess we'll get there soon enough. Is there any bands that you plan on checking out for this show? Like let's start talking about some bands we probably should dive into, but didn't. Like to me, the Beatles come up. I need to listen to more of the Stones. Talking Heads, surprisingly, since they're so influential. Van Halen, I haven't listened to anything but the hits on Van Halen, so I probably need to dive in there. But do you have any bands in mind that you're like, I've never listened to them or never gave them a chance, maybe I should? That whole
man, I don't know. There's nothing that I can really think of right now. Yeah, I have to think about that.
Hopefully we'll get some help. I've set up an email address. Anybody that listens, you can kind of request of us to check something out by emailing us at stuckinmygeneration at gmail.com. So if there's an all-time great, that you think belongs in everyone's catalog of albums they listen to, let us know, send it over. To be clear, don't send over Led Zeppelin. I got into a big Led Zeppelin phase there for a while, and they're very much worthy. I assume you've listened to Led Zeppelin plenty too, but I don't know 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to visit that. Like, I've heard all of it. I think I've listened to every album except for maybe the last one. I don't think I listened to that too much, but
okay, yeah.
But yeah, that's one that could be omitted from any listening, I think. Is there any other bands from the past, like pre-Nirvana, that you would take out of the equation that you've already jammed out to a lot?
I was trying to think. I want to take a few steps back. There's one band that's, I'm assuming, post Nirvana that I don't feel like I've really given them much of a chance, but it's Radiohead. I know a few Radiohead songs, but man, I tell you what, I don't know any. I feel like I'm missing out on some good songs in there somewhere.
There's definitely some good songs in there. I've been on that kick before. Like, I think I've listened to just about all of it, and I would definitely revisit it again just to refresh the palate. But yeah, there's definitely some really good songs in there. They weren't just the song Creep, but then at the same time, that guy's voice is kind of like Billy Corgan's. Like, you can handle it for a while, and then it's like, dude, quit fucking whining. Like, quit your whining and sing something. Quit whispering. Quit fucking whispering, Thome. His name's Thome. Thon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is good.
Yeah.
There's definitely some good Radiohead stuff out there, and they're still making music somehow. But
yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely worth diving into if you didn't give.
That's more recent,
Yeah, it is, but they date back quite a ways. Don't say U2, because there's one thing on this show I'm not doing. I'm not fucking listening to U2. You can't make me. No one can pay me. It's not happening. Just zero interest.
Yeah, I have a story, but I'll save that for another episode.
I don't know. Is it about U2?
Yeah.
Drop it, because we tell it. I don't think we're going to talk about U2 ever again, so get it out.
Okay.
Fuck Bono. Go ahead.
All right. Man, I was going to some Halloween parties at my wife's coworkers, really good group of people. And come to find out, one of the, is a friend of a friend that was at the party. Her husband, a super nice guy. I met him. Actually, the stage manager for the band U2.
Awesome.
Super good guy. Super good dude.
Unlike Bono, good.
Oh, and his wife has stories, great stories about all kinds of different bands. But I thought, here's my one chance. That's the closest I've ever been to meeting somebody that's actually in the game. And it's U2.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I have respect, But,
and that's the thing too. Like, if you hear us trashing on anybody, it's just personal preference. Like, anybody that puts themselves out there and sings in front of anyone or plays an instrument in front of anyone, absolute total respect. Because that's, I don't, whether like Insane Clown Posse, I respect Insane Clown Posse. Do I think their music's great? Fuck no, absolutely not. But do I respect them? Yeah. I mean, anybody that puts their heart and soul into what they believe is good music, and it might be good. It's that's thing with bands like Insane Clown Posse. There's a shit ton of people that think it's good music, so more power to you.
Right.
I'm going to sound like a prick when I say it's absolute garbage, but I only mean it's garbage for me. That's
Never heard one song. Never heard one.
ICP? Oh,
never heard one.
No, total transparency. I've seen them live, and I went to their Juggalo wrestling promotion. Like, a guy that I used to have as a roommate was a fan. He didn't have any tattoos, thank God. And he liked a lot of punk and a lot of other stuff. He just also happened to like them for some reason. So that convinced me to give him a listen. And I liked him for a minute. I won't lie, but I never ever liked them because I thought it was good music and great talent. It was more just like, this is so fucking stupid that it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
That stuff's out there. The Bloodhound Gang, nobody's going to accuse them of being a great band. That's just fun.
Oh yeah.
So you got those bands. Did you get any YouTube snippets or pieces of a story that's worth talking about?
No, not really. And we attended a few parties. A lot of times it was just her. He was out on the road. He was in New Zealand, or I think at one time he was in like Chicago, trading or selling equipment to AC/DC or something like that.
That's kind of a cool snippet.
That. But I recall that, I talked to, she knows I'm really into music, super sweet lady. And, I told her I was big into the Stones and stuff. And she's like, oh yeah, she said, I've met all them, I was backstage with the Stones, and, we were all eating from the same buffet line, sitting at the same table.
That's insane.
Oh, that's just still gives me chills, just to be that close, just to listen to her stories. But
yeah, like I don't have any crazy celebrity things. Like if I ran into Mick Jagger today, I wouldn't freak out, wouldn't do anything. I'd probably be like, "What's up, Mick? Like, thanks for all the good stuff." And it'd be super casual, but at the same time, like, you meet a living legend like that, and you got a story to talk about. So anybody that's done that is just crazy. I've got an uncle that was a roadie with Aerosmith and knows them pretty well and has all their phone numbers. And dude works at General Mills in Wellston still.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Name's Ron Butcher. He's Aerosmith roadie, went everywhere they went, used all his vacation at jobs and lost a lot of jobs because he would not miss an Aerosmith tour. And he'd at least go, tri-state area, wherever they went, and got to know him by name, got pictures of himself backstage sitting on their equipment cases. And like, that's pretty cool.
Get him on the podcast.
Yeah. Come on, Steven Tyler. You look just like my grandma. Let's talk.
I met your uncle.
Yeah.
I met your uncle.
Yeah. He did. He was definitely trying to look like a lady for a minute, and the long wavy hair, but good dude. I don't think he follows them anymore. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, anytime any band or have been around any band, it's a cool story. Unfortunately, I have not. I ran into Carrot Top once in Las Vegas. That's my claim to fame.
Oh yeah.
Didn't talk to him. I just ran into him like shoulder to shoulder. He about knocked me the fuck over. Dude's jacked up.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muscles on top of muscles. But
the only person who's not a musician, but the dude from the Big Bang Theory, Leonard, ran into him kind of.
Really?
Yeah, we were pretty close to him. Yeah, out in California.
That's pretty cool. I watched shit out of that show. Like me and my wife have been binging that one, and we're almost done with it. But yeah, I like all those guys. I follow all of them on Instagram just because I like the geeky shit. So.
Oh yeah. I can't even think. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I'm not good with names.
Let's see. His name was David on Roseanne. Johnny Galecki.
Yeah, that's it.
Johnny Galecki.
Yeah. He was standing outside on the corner of the Warner Brothers studio, smoking a cigarette, talking to somebody.
And were you on like a tour, and you passed him, and he was standing outside? Is that kind of
yeah.
Dude, you guys have went a lot of places too. Like, you've been to Disney, you've been to like all those places seemingly. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, pre-COVID, it was my ambition, my son, he's 15, wanted to just expose him to as much as I could that I could afford to. We've been to a lot of places in the United States, and he fell in love with California, which, the places
who doesn't, right?
The places that I saw. And speaking of California and music, stood right outside the Whiskey A Go-Go, it was just amazing to me just to stand there outside of it, all the music that came and gone through that.
Yeah.
And it's a little shithole.
Those are the best places.
Oh yeah.
Like Newport and Columbus. Like, it's not famous really, but Yeah, every show is intimate. You know, you can get as close as you want. You know,
Yeah.
you can see the faces of the band clearly, no matter where you're standing. Like that's so much better than a big arena or a big, outdoor amphitheater or whatever. Like, give me those shitholes all day long.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And
I agree.
that does suck. Like, COVID's killed everything. I had tickets for floor seats for Foo Fighters. I had good tickets for Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I don't have them now. Like, all that shit got canceled, got refunded. So me and my
Oh,
wife were so pumped to, because we're both big Foo Fighter fans. Like, little spoiler, I think Foo Fighters are a better band than any grunge band, personally. But it took time. See, that's the thing too. I don't know if you've listened to the Foo Fighters, like, all of it.
I
Like,
have not dug deep.
some of their singles just will make you not dig deep. Like, nobody wants to listen to Everlong all the time, or
Yeah.
My Hero or whatever. But man, you dive in and like listen to every song on every album, and there are so many gems on there that are just great rock songs. It's kind of incredible. Like, the singles don't do them justice whatsoever. But
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, they're good. Like, they're really good. They've got some songs that are just kind of like just cohesive. The way they play together is amazing. So I was definitely disappointed to miss out on.
I'll tell you what, I intended on digging into the Foo Fighters at one point. There's one song that I heard. I thought, man, I can't do it. I had to back off. Honestly, man, they sound absolutely nothing like Nirvana, but just the Dave Grohl affiliation with Nirvana. I mean, I kind of think, man, I don't know if I can listen to very much just because he himself personally reminds me of Nirvana,
Oh
which
yeah, definitely.
I can't listen to. But
I
man,
can't
he's
either.
a man, Dave Grohl. I've watched some of the Foo Fighters live performances. Just him bringing kids up and stuff to jam along with him, and
Yeah.
he's definitely top 10 one of the people I'd like to sit down and talk to.
Oh yeah.
It'd be a dream come true just to sit down and he just seems like a normal dude.
He does, yeah. Have you ever watched the documentary Sound City, about the Sound City recording studio?
Yes.
That was all, Dave Grohl. That's a good one. Like, my wife actually lost her shit and like started crying whenever like Dave Grohl was talking to somebody out of the shot, and like
Yeah.
they creep in and it's Paul McCartney, and my wife just starts crying because she loves Paul McCartney that much. She loves
Okay.
all of them that much. And
Yeah.
and they whip up a song out of nowhere with, like, in minutes. They would, like,
Yeah.
Paul McCartney's like, I'll take the lead, and he's just like starts rocking, and I'm like, God damn. Yeah, he's got his like square box bass or something. It just starts jamming, and like they whip up this song, and it was really good. And like at the end of the song, Dave Grohl looks at Paul McCartney. He's like, man, I wish it could be this easy every time. And Paul McCartney looks real confused. He's like, it is. It's like, Paul McCartney's like, you mean it's not easy for you? Like, this is what we do with the Beatles, is we just write fucking songs, man. We just play them. And it's
Just
like,
jam.
yeah, it's just one of those moments, like, and you realize with little clips like that, that's why the Beatles deserve their due credit once you dive in. Like, fucking guys just wrote songs like it was nothing. Like, it was
was
just
like
a piece of cake.
they were like a factory.
Yeah. They just get in there and just start writing stuff. And me and the wife watched, like, I think it was 8 days a week, the Ron Howard Beatles movie, The Touring Years or something like
I
that.
know of it. Yeah.
Oh man, like this, I'll save most of the Beatles dive for the next show, but it's like that, watching what happened with them, watching the pandemonium and fucking girls passing out and all kinds. It was just mind blowing. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, nothing like that ever happened, when I was growing up. Like, yeah, Nirvana, people went nuts, but like, it was nothing like Beatlemania. It was just kind of nuts. Like, that was definitely music history,
Oh, I agree.
unlike ICP. But yeah, yeah, but yeah, you got those small, whiskey a go-go's and the Newports of the world. Like, hopefully we'll get it all back soon. But
Yeah.
until then, I'm doing the same thing as you. I'm watching clips, You know, if Post Malone wants to cover some Nirvana, I watch that. If Miley Cyrus
Sure.
covers a whole song, like I'm like, I don't like Miley, but I'm fucking desperate at this point. So let's
Yeah.
see what this cover of a whole song sounds like, and kind of all we got. Hopefully rock starts to slowly come back. I feel like, you know, people like Miley Cyrus and Post Malone. Unfortunately, if that's how we get it back, it's how we get it back. But they seem to be focused on rock right now, and are just trying to bring it back. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see. But until then, we'll deep dive into some stuff we never gave a chance. Not ICP, not U2. So don't get excited, juggalos and bonos out there. Shit's not happening.
And
So,
not the Eagle. No
yeah,
Eagles.
no Eagles. See, I've never really dove into the Eagles that much either.
I'll tell you what, I'm a huge Joe Walsh fan. James Gang, you know, going back that far. It's my personal opinion. Joe Walsh came in to pretty much rescue the Eagles. You know, he put a little bit of pepper in the broth.
See, I've heard that a lot. Like, you're not the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah. So, but as far as I'm not a big Eagles fan.
Yeah,
I respect them.
Yeah. Respect all artists, but there's just some things that just don't work. And I'm just curious if I've changed on any of that, because I did not like the Beatles. I was like, this shit's too old. Like, this is too happy poppy, like too old. I didn't get it. So, you know, there might be other bands out there like that I didn't give their due. I mean, I like Dire Straits, and it took a really long time for that to happen. So
yeah,
Dire Straits is, you know, somebody was arguing with me like 6 months ago, and I said something about Dire Straits. They're like, Dire Straits? I was like, Dire Straits kicks ass. Like, Dire Straits is good, man. There's some good guitar in that stuff. So
I work with a dude. He's a really enjoys Dire Straits. Speaking of Dire Straits, I had no idea. You know, I mess around with the guitar just a little bit. I'll pick up a little bit of a song. Once I can play it, I'm done with it. I can't remember it.
Yep.
It's just, I need to get it out. Once it goes from my mind through my fingers, I'm done.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to pull off the Sultans of Swing.
Oh man.
I had no idea how old that song was. I thought that was like a 1989 song or something.
Yeah. Nope. It was what, mid-70s?
I believe so. Yeah, but I had no idea. That was a big surprise to me.
How'd it go trying to play it?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Tough for me.
See, me too. I'm a shitty guitar player. Like, I've got guitars and they're hanging up in here. I'm terrible. Like, you know, just, and that's the thing. I'd learned parts of songs, and like, as soon as I had the chorus part, as soon as I had the I was like, okay, I'm done with that. Let me move on to the next one. I'd learn 10 seconds of another one, and I'd learn 20 parts of 20 songs, and I'd be like, okay, now I got to make something of my own with what I've learned off these 20 pieces of tablature that I've been reading. So it never quite stuck. Like, I see you hopping on Facebook Live, rocking out, and I'm like, man, see, I wish I was there. Like, I wish I could do the same thing, but it's like, I'd pick up a guitar and start playing on there, and people be like, okay, you just played 3 seconds of The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson. He switched into a Green Day song. Then he went back to the Violent Femmes Blister in the Sun, because everyone knows that. Like, what the fuck is this guy playing? Yeah. What's this guy playing? Is this really? He's just playing a little a mashup. And then I would stop and look around and be like, that's all I got. Beautiful People, baby. The easiest song ever to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for waiting around for the first episode. Like I said, I'm going to dive into some Beatles, go from there. Hicks is bound and determined to get his Radiohead fix in, which is it's actually good times. I need to find out more about the Stones, but yeah, it's time to quit being stuck in our generation, because like you said and like I said, I can't listen to Nirvana.
Right.
When Soundgarden comes on, I skip it, and
I do too.
It's nothing against the band or Chris Cornell. Like, I think Chris Cornell is one of the best of all time, vocalists anyways. And I loved Soundgarden growing up, but fuck, man, I can't keep listening to the same 5 bands. Like, and oddly enough, the one that's stuck is Alice in Chains. I can listen to them anytime for some reason.
I can too.
Like, they're just they're more than grunge somehow. Like they do a lot of the harmonizing. They've got like the two vocalists and kind of do a little bit of that Beatles and Beach Boys kind of stuff, just in a different way. But hey, Alice in Chains was pretty badass. None of that gets old to me, but Nirvana gets old, Soundgarden gets old, Pearl Jam gets old.
I think with Alice in Chains, when I went back, it's almost like every time I watch the movie Pulp Fiction, I see something different. With Alice in Chains, I would go back and listen and I would hear something different. So
Yeah.
that kind of was always intriguing to me.
Yeah. There's a lot packed in there, like a whole
Yeah.
lot packed in there. And Post Malone actually did a couple Alice in Chains covers for New Year's or something. They sucked. I won't sugarcoat it, but they had some, there was some kind of pop music special or something, and it was focused around Alice in Chains. But if you haven't looked, there's some pretty good covers. Mastodon covered an Alice in Chains song for this special, and like fucking knocked it out of the park. Like it was really badass. And I've never heard anybody knock a Alice in Chains cover out. Like there's only one Alice in Chains sound to me, and that was a pretty good one. But yeah, I can always go back and listen to them, but I need to get the music knowledge up. It's time. Being 40, running out of shit to listen to. It's time to dive into musical history. So been watching a lot of documentaries.
I think with you and I, we've always anytime we discovered anything,
got stuck on it,
and we would share it with each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You shared a lot of stuff with me. I think which you've shared a lot. I want to say you like turned me on to maybe the Royal Blood. Is that one of?
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. Like it's hard to find good rock, and we just share stuff back and forth. I got on a Black Keys kick. I think you weren't the biggest fan of their vocal sound. Maybe
I need to give him another chance. Guy.
It's good stuff, but if you do find a band like that and like the vocalist just pisses you off, it's hard to do. Like I grew up on
past that.
Yeah, I grew up on punk and ska, and people were like, "You like the mighty Boss Tones?" I'm like, sure. No, that guy's voice makes me want to slice my throat. No, I don't like them. Like, sometimes the voice can just ruin the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat. But yeah, we have shared a lot of that stuff. So that's a good reason for me and you to be, doing this podcast and taking a little musical journey. Like we've always shared shit. And I know you've listened to stuff I haven't, and vice versa. And we usually share it, but now we can just give each other homework assignments and come back on this show and discover and talk about what we've learned, going out of our element a little bit. So pretty excited about that, because I've been stuck in my generation for way too long and didn't give any bands a chance. I'd just be like, what do I listen to? I guess I'll put Pearl Jam's 10 on, since I have only heard that 30,000 times.
Right.
So then you got my dumb ass posting all over Facebook, Taylor Swift's new album is awesome. And people are just like, that was one guy even told me, he's like, you're pretty brave to post that. And I'm like, I don't I don't care. I'll admit that I like anybody. If I can find something to like about an artist or a band, I'll admit it in a heartbeat. Maybe not ICP, but Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll sign off for this one. So we're going to jam out to some Beatles, make a little playlist of what we liked, what we don't, and share our thoughts about, diving into the whole discography and what conclusions we come to, which I half know already, that I do enjoy the Beatles, but I am still excited to talk about what I enjoy about them and what albums I enjoy and what songs I enjoy and what I don't enjoy. So we'll dive into that. If you would, Hicks, make a playlist, like start, or just write songs down, something that way we've got, this is where it started to kick in for me, and which you might already know since you had Sergeant Pepper as a young Padawan back in the day.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen to shit until like a month and a half ago. I didn't listen to any at all. Like I just heard the ones that you see clips of from the Sullivan Show, Ed Sullivan or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, not for me. It turns out they are for me. So that'll be our first project. The next episode will be all about the Beatles and if we like them, what we like about them, and if they belong in our rotation in the future.
Sounds good.
It does. So join us again. And like I said, if you guys do have any suggestions, anybody listening, just send them to stuckinmygeneration@gmail.com. Let us know what bands are out there that we haven't listened to. I don't know if we've put everything out there. You might send us some and we might already be well versed in it or knowledgeable about it, but try it anyways. We'll send you an email back and let you know. But like per our stipulations, no U2. And who did you say, Hicks? There was U2 and someone else.
I said the Eagles.
Eagles, no U2. I think that's about it. I don't really want to go into any hair metal, but if somebody out there thinks that there's an influential enough band, I don't consider Van Halen hair metal. So, but if anybody has a hair metal band that you really do think is worth listening to and influential in some ways, send it over. I can't promise we'll check that out, but somebody says, jam to some Winger, I'm like, well, maybe Ying Wei, Malmsteen, but not Winger.
Oh yeah.
Do some Ying Wei. Nah, it's just no vocals. I think when he did sing, it sucked, but yeah, join us next week. We'll talk about our Beatles experience and onward and forward from there. We'll find other things to listen to and try to get, out of our generational cycle that we're both in. So join us next time. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys. Thank you for listening to Stuck in My Generation. Again, if you want to suggest bands for us to listen to, send it over to stuckinmygeneration@gmail.com.